Welcome, young and old, to the Crofton Warrior Podcast.
Crofton Warrior Podcast.
Yeah, hello, I'm Jack.
I'm Quinnlan Mosier.
And today we're talking about just how great our teachers are.
Yeah, we got some awesome teachers here.
We have some awesome teachers here in Crofton, and we keep telling them that we're making a podcast about how great they are, and they keep telling us that we're lying to them or we're suck-ups if they believe that we're actually...
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. That's what Mr. Dorr told me, at least. I love Mr. Dorr.
We should get him on the podcast, though.
We love Mr. Dorr. We love every teacher that we have.
They're all so amazing.
They're all really great, and we just kind of wanted to showcase that. So we brought in a couple of people, and we learned about what they're doing as a teacher. We're learning about what they're trying to do as a teacher. We're learning about what everybody's learning.
Yeah, how far they are in their career.
Yeah, exactly. We brought on two of our wonderful student teachers that are here at Crofton this semester, and they talked about all of the wonderful things that they're hearing and understanding about Crofton and about our teachers here at Crofton and what they're learning from that. And it's really wonderful to hear.
It is.
That our teachers are having a good influence on people.
They're doing their job.
They are doing their job.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah. So we hope you enjoy
this awesome talking session.
This awesome talking session about our wonderful teachers.
Our wonderful teachers.
Here at Crofton. So
thanks for listening.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello.
Heck yeah.
Hi.
Would you like to introduce yourself, Miss Hansen?
I'm Miss Hansen.
Thank you.
Yay.
We're talking about how great our teachers are here at Crofton. We're just talking up Crofton.
Yeah.
That's what
I
we're doing.
love that so much. We are pretty amazing.
We can get more people to move here.
Yeah. That's the goal
Populate
of
the
this
town.
podcast. So, we're just flying by the seat of our pants here. We haven't written down any questions.
Yeah, we wing it.
Got
We
it.
wing it. We haven't wung it for any other interview, but we have like 15 minutes left in this block.
Yeah.
Got it.
And,
So
and we're
ready.
kind of just trying to go. So, my first question to you,
Oh, I'm
how'd
so
you get
nervous.
here?
How did I get here?
How did you get here?
That's a good question. I student taught here, and I loved it so much I came back.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes, I student taught under Mrs. Peer.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
I
Yeah.
taught Hunter's grade, or Hunter's brother's grade.
Hunter's brother's grade.
Hunter.
Connor.
Oh,
My
Connor
sister's
taught?
grade.
Yes. Yes, your sister's grade.
Does that mean
Yeah.
was I in this building?
You were not, well, you might have been in junior high.
What sister?
Carly.
When
Yeah,
Carly
I was
a
in
sophomore.
7th grade.
Shout outs Carly if you're listening.
Shout outs Carly.
Carly was a sophomore.
Yeah.
And then
So-
how many grades was she above you?
I was, sophomore, freshman. I was in 7th grade, so you would have been in 6th grade, Quinnlan.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I mean, obviously, otherwise you would have remembered me.
Oh, yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah,
I
probably,
remember
of
everybody
course.
I've ever seen.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I remember.
course.
I remember when Mrs. Baker was when it was an opening for Mrs. Baker.
Yeah.
And both my sisters were like, I hope that Miss Hansen gets that job because her favorite color is yellow. And
Was that the reason?
I think that was one of the details. That's the only detail that I
Your
remember.
favorite color is yellow?
It is.
Oh,
indeed.
that she talks about that so much. How have you
yes.
not noticed?
He hasn't taken one of my
I don't.
classes.
I've never had her in class.
Oh.
I interviewed for that position
Yeah.
for bakers.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
then
I mean, they made a good choice.
And then I remember everybody being
would pick
so
Baker as well.
disappointed that, well, not
feel
everybody, but at least the people that I was talking
Well,
to.
not everybody, but
Not everyone.
At least the people that I was around were like,
Fair enough.
oh, we know Miss Hansen, and she didn't get the part.
Yeah.
And then it was revealed that Mrs. Peer was leaving, and everyone was devastated. Everyone's like, these are massive shoes. Who's going to fill these massive shoes?
Yes.
who was before Mrs. Baker?
Mrs. O'Brien.
Mrs. O'Brien, who is now back in our school.
My world's been flipped upside down.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't know how you didn't know this.
So much you need to learn, Quinnlan.
Thought I was the master of the school, and I was not.
Yeah. Anywho, so everybody was like, Mrs. Peer's leaving. What are we to do? And then word came that you got the job. And everyone was like, Miss Hansen.
Were they?
They were rejoicing.
Well, a couple people were.
A couple, good.
And
I'll
then-
take a couple.
And then I was really disappointed because I really wanted to be in sophomore English with Mrs. Peer.
Mrs. Peer.
And
I
so
know.
I was like, oh, this might suck.
I know.
I had never.
And then
had
it didn't. On the
It
bright side,
didn't!
it didn't.
Yay!
We had a fun time. We had a good class.
I think the seniors last year were really, really wanted Mrs. Peer, but
Oh yeah,
alas, I won them over eventually.
you got there.
We got there.
So how did you? Here's my second question to you that I
Yes.
haven't written down. How'd you get to the field that you're in? Like why why are you not an astronaut? Why are you where you
That's
are?
a good question.
These are good questions.
Yeah.
Okay, honestly, I fell in love with English first. I was always the kid that was really good at English, and then I'd help all my friends. So they would like write the papers, and I would correct their papers. And
Oh really?
hand them back to them, yes, so they could make corrections. And I loved that. Like, I loved writing. I loved reading ever since I was little. And then I was considering what I could do with that. And, I mean, author was not off of the table.
But that's a hard gig to.
it's a hard gig.
Yeah.
Is that like your side job now?
Nope.
Do you write anything?
Well, I'm currently getting my master's in writing, yes.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I am. I'm taking a poetry class right now.
I will take novels if you write a book.
Quinnlan, I would do
Oh,
that.
You have
just
2
for that.
years, Miss Hansen.
2
You gotta
years.
get published.
It's gonna be a book of poetry.
Well, it doesn't have to be published.
Oh.
just write
As
a
long
book?
as you're in the process of writing a book.
I wrote a book in 7th grade.
Glenn, I'm
Well,
scared
no.
you're taking novels.
No, I legitimately wrote a book in 7th grade.
I wrote a book in 7th grade. It's
Okay,
called
maybe it's gotta be
Apprehending
published.
WWE Superstar John Cena, and we read.
We need
that
to
on
finish that.
We need to finish that podcast right now. But
Oh gosh.
We had to write a book in 7th grade, and you can go to Amazon and you can Google my name, and there's a book out there.
oh really?
Wait, it's like a
Bye.
published book. Okay, it has to be a new
It's not
published
good.
book.
oh
Oh, I'm gonna regret this so
I'm
much.
gonna
Yeah, I'm
buy
Googling
this
it right
for
now.
you for Christmas.
I'm gonna regret it so much. I don't know how many copies are out there. I may have bought a copy or two to give to a friend or two, so the copies may all be gone now. But
You heard this? Buy Mrs. Hansen's book.
Miss Hansen,
Miss Hansen.
My bad.
Does that get on your nerves?
just slightly.
I say it
Just
all the
slightly
time
Sometimes
because it just voids my mind.
I understand.
It's
It's
like
not
that-
my
it's,
biggest
it's
pet
the
peeve.
same. It's the same.
Do you think that would be
word.
like a compliment though? In a way?
Because he thinks I'm married.
Yeah. Miss
What
Hansen,
bugs
you
me
got
is
a
that
man.
when I'm married, fair enough. What bugs me is that when I'm married, I'll have a different name. I won't ever be Mrs.
That's
Hansen.
true. Unless you marry a Hansen.
Unless
That'd
I marry
be kind of
Hansen.
weird.
It
Well,
could be. It
that's
could
true.
be weird. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be kind of strange.
Yep, a little strange. But anywho,
Either who.
Yeah.
so I became a teacher.
Yeah.
How do you like teaching children?
How?
Well, like how much do you enjoy it?
I love it.
How? We suck. Kids are stupid and they're so rude.
I mean, I'm not going to say those are inaccurate statements, but kids are also wonderful and kind. They're both because we're humans and we are complex beings.
Oh my god.
And sometimes you just have to be understanding when a kid is being rude.
You
'Cause,
should
know,
write a poetry book.
That they
should.
just,
That was
you
that
know,
was
they
profound.
can't handle their emotions. Honestly, in teaching, they teach you that every behavior is a form of communication.
Yeah.
So if a student is upset, it's their way of communicating.
I could never be a teacher.
Maybe the content is going over their head. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep last night. But they are communicating that to you through their behavior.
Wow. We're learning something every day.
Yeah.
Was it ever a question? Well, I assume it was a question, but was it ever like a legitimate question whether you would teach? Were you open to teaching people of all ages, or was it
No.
like I want to specifically do high school?
I could never do elementary. Never. Which is
Do they show
surprising.
too much emotion?
They communicate too much.
communicate too much.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very surprising. Everyone who comes up to me and I'm like, I'm a teacher, they ask me what grade because they assume it's elementary, which fair. But
Yeah.
I give off elementary vibes. I don't think I
was
could
about
do
to say
it.
that. You
I
do kind of give off
know.
elementary.
I know I give off elementary vibes, but I don't think I could do it. You have to like blow their noses for them, and they're germy.
What kids are you thinking of?
Like little first graders don't know how to blow their nose.
Yeah, they just throw up everywhere.
They throw up everywhere.
Yeah.
See, that's what I would teach. That sounds fun. Wrangling a bunch of little children. Okay, that sounds
They
weird.
also, You can edit it out.
Yeah,
They
post.
also are too cute. Like, little children are just so adorable. And when they're like, I want to tell you this story, how do I say, you can't tell me your story right now because we have to learn? They're just too cute.
Are we not cute enough?
Nope. I didn't say no
Oh, I
to
see
you all.
how it is.
That was fast.
Nope. Wears off quickly. No, I was always going to do high school. I could never do elementary.
Well, were you opposed to teaching college?
No, Quinnlan, actually, I am
She really wants to leave
preparing
us and
for
teach
that.
college.
No, I don't want to leave you all, but I am
You
preparing.
better not leave us.
It will be in the far future. My sister says that I have a deep well of patience, and I do. But I think someday that well is going to run dry, and then I'm going to move up to college.
Just be very cranky. And then you'll have to. I feel like college students aren't as rambunctious, probably.
No, they're
Yeah.
usually half asleep. Honestly, I think 50% of the time they're just shopping on their iPads and computers.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
We do that, but with games.
Yes.
We do just play
Yes,
Drifty
you do.
Boss. the whole
Yeah,
time.
Drifty Boss.
Yeah, that's the new one.
You'll catch some
Don't-
kids on that.
Don't get it blocked for us.
I already sent an email
Okay, that's all right.
right now.
My life is ruined.
That's okay.
I'm dropping out.
So you get the job at Crofton. You were previously at Plainview, and we're not even
Correct.
going to discuss that. But
Okay.
but you get the job at Crofton, and how do you think that you? Because you're filling big shoes.
Dude, you're telling me.
I assume you've had some real hard thoughts about that.
Stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have had a lot of thoughts about it. It was very difficult because I student taught under Mrs. Pierce, so I knew how she did everything. And those, like, she had wonderful methods, but they weren't necessarily my methods.
How do you feel sort of defying those methods?
Very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. I felt like that first year, anything that I changed, and though it wasn't this, I felt like it was like disrespectful to her teaching memory.
Oh, yeah.
You know, to come in and be like, well, she did this for
Like
30 years,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to change it all. And so there was a lot of stuff that I would have changed that I didn't change. And I'm doing it progressively. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, like
slowly.
eventually
Yeah, that
you'll.
makes sense.
and I'm not changing
It'll fully
everything because
be-
a lot of what she did was great too.
Yeah.
But that was very stressful. Plus, I still see her all the time, and I look up to her, and I still respect her. But I just have different teaching styles,
Yeah.
so it's a bit of meshing that all together. Plus, all those seniors expected Mrs. Peer,
Yeah.
and they wanted her curriculum, and they wanted her, and so it was finding the middle ground between that.
Yeah.
Jack, were you ever taught by Mrs. Beer?
I only had her for our little speech when I was a freshman. So I just kind of I wasn't taught a class, but for 45 minutes every other day, I would just go in a room, essentially.
I will be I think my class is the first class
Yeah, to not.
to
not have her. I
Besides,
know.
but besides being a sub.
Yes, which made, or I think is making teaching your class. Well, you guys didn't have her either.
No, we didn't. Not for English.
Yeah,
Oh,
so sophomore year last year, I didn't feel like I struggled as much with my seniors. They just would stare at me, and I was like, I feel like you hate me, but we got there. But sophomores, I didn't struggle with as much because you didn't know her.
Yeah.
You didn't know
Yeah.
her teaching practices.
Yeah.
She was just a myth to you all, which helps because those are big shoes to fill.
Yeah. I, for one, I can say you're kind of filling them.
I think you're
you.
filling them as well.
Oh my
I haven't
gosh.
had you, but
I feel
from
so
speech
honored.
season last year, you're a good teacher.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. I feel honored. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we're doing. We're talking about how great our teachers are.
I love that. Honestly, I'm going to be real with y'all. There are days where I'm like, wow, do I know how to teach at all? Is that what I did today? So there are some days where your teachers need to hear that. They
Oh,
need
yeah.
that vote of confidence.
We're
This
all
is-
learning and growing.
Yeah.
We're all
everyone
figuring
is.
out what we're doing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I still don't
Indeed.
know how to study. I'm being honest. I haven't
You
studied.
don't know how to study?
No. I look at stuff.
Uh-huh.
First off, we'll
think
say in
about it.
science,
Uh-huh.
there's a cajillion things, right?
Uh-huh.
So first off, I don't know what to study.
Uh-huh.
And I can't get it stuck in my brain.
You just got to start. Just
You have to figure out
just
how you
start
learn
going.
best.
Yeah.
When I took history in college, I I do not enjoy history. I'm so sorry, Mr. Dorr, but and Mrs. Moon. But I do not love history. I didn't love it in high school. I loved it in college, but it doesn't stay in my brain. And so I had to take my notes, and I would have to transpose them into pictures.
Ooh.
I would take all my notes, and I would turn them into little pictures because I'm a visual learner.
That's a fun little activity, though.
Whoa.
It was. And so, like, we would be talking about someone who, like, signed a constitution. So I draw a little constitution. And then I'd, like, draw little arrows. And I transposed all of those into drawings. And then I was set.
So it's like George Washington. You just draw George Washington.
Yes. And then, like, the things that George Washington does.
And then, like, you remember the picture?
Yes. Because
Look
I'm
at
a
that.
visual learner.
Yeah.
So, like, I'll remember pictures better than I will just, like, words on a page.
That's so odd.
Thank you.
We've been
you.
interviewing for like 15 minutes, and we have learned so much.
I'm a different person.
That's what
I'm
I'm
a
here
whole
for.
different person.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Yes.
your time.
Thank you so much.
Can you please introduce yourself, sir, Mr. Cagle?
Yes, my name is Mr. Cagle. I am a student teacher with the one and only Mr. Mickey Dorr.
Yeah.
Mickey Dorr.
I am currently a senior at Mount Marty in Yankton, and I'm from way up north in northern Minnesota. So, you know,
Yeah.
I get made fun of that a lot here, but it's
Yeah.
okay. It's all in good fun.
All right. Well, thank you. So, talking about how great our teachers are.
Yeah.
And as you said, you're in direct line with one of our teachers.
Well, and technically, I do teach one of your classes.
And you
so-
do kind of just
So
teach
your
a
grade
class.
does slightly
Depend on this?
depend on this.
Yeah, sure.
Jack, you better pull your weight.
I'll do my best. So, I'm just gonna start you out with, what do you think makes a good teacher?
I think that, and this definition has changed over the years. So, when I was in high school, I always thought a good teacher was someone who, like, I had fun with, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like, not really that deep of a understanding. But now that I am in the position I'm in, I think a good teacher is someone who can inspire, the students, so you guys, on how to be better than what, like, I was in high school. How to improve the world once you leave, our classroom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was profound.
That was.
That was amazing. Do you think you see a lot of that, like, goodness and inspirational being in a lot of our teachers
I
here
do,
in
yeah.
Crofton?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, each teacher does it in their own way, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, Mr. Dorr, like, very outgoing, very much, like, a lot of times if you're having discussions with them, it's not necessarily on content, right?
Yeah.
So from what I've seen and kind of what I'm modeling along with him is, we're looking at you guys a lot, whether you know it or not, from the outside school perspective, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So, like what are your strengths that we can utilize in our classroom to kind of, get you to realize through whatever we're teaching, things in the world do kind of matter. And then, like, English, like, if you look at, Miss Baker, Miss Hansen, or Miss Trainer, they're looking at it through, like, more of, like, a philosophical, like we're analyzing these books, like, what lessons can we take from these books
yeah.
and writings and things.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think, you're studying to be a teacher?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you think that, in what ways are you trying to embody those sort of qualities?
My biggest thing is I am trying to practice lack of better words, practice what I'm preaching, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm expecting you guys to put more work in on an assignment, I am going to put more work in that assignment. Or, like Jack, if you walk into my classroom, I can tell you're just not having a great day.
Mhm.
Like something's off. I then would hopefully recognize that and be like, kind of, pull you aside and say, like, hey, if something's going on, just let me know. Like we're gonna get through this. Kind of show that compassion side, because I think a lot of students just think us as teachers are just, we're just pushing the content. Like,
Yeah.
For sure.
we're just teaching, right?
Mhm.
But in reality, I can guarantee you every single teacher is looking at what's going on outside, because we're trained to realize that unless you're, like, if you're not okay, in any, whether that's physical, mental, or emotional, we could push content all day long. You're not going to remember any of it.
Yeah.
Right. So the biggest thing that like I try and do is make sure that if I see something off of my students, that I attempt to address it, or I'll go to Mr. Dorr and we'll kind of figure out how we can address that if it needs to be addressed.
Yeah. That's really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't see
Mm-hmm.
is that it's a lot more than just learn this. I'm gonna yell this content at you until you figure it out.
Yeah,
it's a lot of understanding.
And a lot of times, like you've seen it when I kind of get a little bit stricter on things. It's not like I think you guys as students see it as like students are not behaving well. Reality, I know every single student in all of my classes is very well capable of being amazing, not only students but people.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to push that. And some days it's harder, and some days it's easier, right? Just like kind of some days it's easier for you guys to sit in our classes and learn, and some days you're just not on it. Right?
Yeah.
I love that hope that you're putting out there. What things do you think you've learned from your so far quarter of being here?
A lot. I think just like I've seen the human side of, especially with Mr. Dorr, because of also the coaching side of things, where I kind of see, I think more than what you guys see, is the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
So like you guys don't necessarily see him as much like the morning of a meet when they're traveling. While I'm there, and he's very much like I want to make sure that the students are all good. Like the students are going to be good if I'm not here, kind of thing. Which I think that's a side that nobody truly gets to see unless you're in like a position I'm in or like you're an actual coach.
Yeah.
So like just seeing it from the what's going to be best for the students, right? So that side of things, which obviously like as an aspiring teacher, like we see that and like we know it's there, but to see it in action is very different than just talking about it.
Yeah, definitely. That's really commendable.
And then, so because where I grew up, town of 10,000, not a big farming community. So now it's starting to get harvest season, right? It's October 23rd. So one thing that he is kind of showing me through is like a very big farming population. So harvest time, some of your peers are pulled out of classes because they need to help farm, right?
Yeah.
They need to help get crops in, which that I think if I wasn't with Mr. Dorr would be a very hard thing to navigate for me because I am not from here. But because he's local, he can explain it in a way where I can understand. Well, because I am technically an outsider, right, coming in. So
Yeah. What a great teacher that Mr. Dorr.
I gotta ask, how is the Crofton experience?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, so my sophomore year, I came and observed Mr. Dorr's classes that year. And after the first day, I kind of had it set where it's like, I want a student teacher. And it has not been, I've loved every single second of it. Obviously, you guys are in one act, so you get to see me a little bit more than others. I've loved every single second of it. I wouldn't change a thing.
That's wonderful.
That's awesome.
So you guys make it fun. So
Yay. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
We wish
you.
yeah, thank you.
Best in
We
teaching.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, you definitely know more about this equipment than I do, 100%.
I
Well,
doubt
we've
that.
just had it for a little bit.
We've just had it for a little bit,
100%.
and we've dunk around with it.
Yeah, we have dunked.
We have dunked. Okay, so can you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Courtney Baker, and I am an English and journalism teacher here at Crofton High School.
Our wonderful journalism teacher who's telling us what to do all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's shadowing us for this this podcast.
Checking up
She's
on you.
Making sure we're doing good stuff.
I'd say one half of the reason why we have a podcast, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, Miss Pack and I both were very interested in getting students the equipment they needed to podcast because it's a really cool medium.
Yeah.
I myself enjoy many a podcast. I listen to them while I walk, while I get ready, while I cook supper. I actually kind of prefer podcasts even to television most of the time.
Oh. All right, so we're talking about teachers. What do you think makes a good teacher?
Oh my.
You're very well versed in the teaching sphere.
Yes,
'Cause
I've been
you are
teaching a
teaching.
while. About 20 years,
Really?
just about.
where
yeah.
have you all been?
So I started teaching. My first teaching job was actually in Grand Island, Nebraska. I taught early childhood special ed.
Really?
And I worked with birth to 5-year-olds with special needs and their families. So really, I taught their parents and caregivers how
Wow.
to care for their kids and teach their kids.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So that was my first teaching job. And then I took a year off when I had my daughter. And then I taught preschool for a couple years after that. And then I took another year off when I had my son. And then I had an opportunity to go teach junior high and high school English. So I did that at Centura High School in Cairo, Nebraska. And I wasn't endorsed, so I had to get my endorsement while I was teaching, which was great. And then I came here. And actually, guys, you may or may not be surprised by the fact that high schoolers and preschoolers don't have many differences.
Oh yeah. I could have told you that.
Oh
You
my
guys
gosh.
actually share a great many similarities.
I'm so impressed. I didn't know you had that extensive of a record.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's been an interesting education journey for me. I've worked with all kinds of different age groups and ability levels and then in there too I coached cheer and dance for over a decade.
Oh my gosh.
And here I coach speech and I'm a journalism advisor. So I've done it all.
Wow.
I could probably go coach football. You think Coach
Pandora's
Allen
box
needs a
of
break?
teachers.
Oh yeah. You can do it.
my.
I believe.
Do everything. Whoa. Okay, so in this winding road of teaching that you have had,
Right?
back to the original, what do you
Yes,
think makes a
okay.
good teacher?
Well, being flexible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to meet your students where they're at, because they all come to you in such different places and different ability levels. And that's why I think I love journalism so much, because like you are able to either like just set some kids loose, like go do and figure out, create and be, and then some kids need more support. And they need more hand holding and a little more instruction, but they eventually get to a more independent place. So I think being flexible for your students, and I think building relationships with students is important. You know, just remembering that everybody's like a human being
Oh yeah.
with different things they're dealing with, and you know, trying to keep that and keep things in perspective, I guess, because I can get kind of heated about things from time to time, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know, we're all just humans sharing this planet. Let's just like be with each other and be like, you know, get along and treat each other well and get stuff done.
Sit down
Yeah.
and learn.
Let's learn.
Yeah, but at least be comfortable and feel safe while learning, you know, I guess, and not dread. I don't want anyone to ever dread coming to my class. Like, I don't want anybody to dread it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that'd be the worst.
I have dreaded going to many a class.
I hope it's not one of mine.
It's not.
Okay, that's good. That's good. I hope that. I mean, I'm sure there, and you can't please everybody either. That's the other thing. Like, I'm not out to be everybody's like friend or best friend, but at least just like, you know, somebody that they can trust or feel comfortable around, or like, you know, take feedback from or praise from, and just feel like just comfortable, I guess, you know, like
Definitely.
Yeah.
just a level of comfort and like just feeling safe, you know, and
mean,
not anxious.
I can attest to that because there's just today in class there were people saying, "Here's the drama of today," talking to you about
Yeah,
that. I didn't
yeah.
hear any of the drama, but
Yeah, we were talking quietly.
I just
Yeah.
know that there's
There was drama.
there's
Yes.
always drama in high
Yeah.
school.
Yes.
When you perk up, you're like, what? What?
Yeah.
Tell
You
me
get
about
Snoopy.
it.
Like a groundhog.
Yeah. It is seriously. Like poke out of your hole. What's going on? What's happening? Yeah.
What's happening?
What's this?
Yeah. It's all going to be okay though.
Yeah.
High school drama literally is like,
It's high school
you
drama.
guys are like fruit flies, really. Like seriously, like, okay, like
Thank
the
you.
drama of, well, okay, but in a good way,
Uh-huh.
in a good way. Because it's like the drama today, it's like all anybody can talk about and like everybody's all up in arms about it. And literally a week
The
later,
tomorrow.
probably, yeah, not even a week.
Nobody.
Yeah.
A day or two later, what were we talking about 2 days ago? You won't even remember.
Yeah.
You're like
There's so
on to
much.
the next thing,
Yeah, definitely.
which is great. That's a great thing about teenagers' minds sometimes can be very like elastic like that, which is probably
Very
good.
in the moment.
Very much so. Yes, living
hills
in the
and
moment.
valleys. So much.
Yeah.
What do you think is the main things that you have figured out throughout your teaching career? Like, because you've had, as we just learned, so many different experiences teaching different ages, different ability levels, different everything.
Yeah.
What do you think that you have mainly taken away from that experience,
That's a
and where do you
good
need to go
question.
to grow more?
That's also a good question. Well, what's come into my mind the most is just learning that normally people, kids, adults, unless they ask you how or ask you why, they don't really want to know. So, okay. So like if I'm just like spitting things at you and like telling you should do this and telling you should do that, like advice, I guess is really
Okay,
where
yeah.
this is leaning. I'm giving you my advice, but you didn't ask me for it. Right? So it's falling on deaf ears. So learning can be like that too. So it's almost like you have to be able to explain or sell a learning objective.
Oh yeah, sell in English.
To like make it sound
Yeah.
fun.
Try to, or at least interesting, or at least engage you enough that you're curious and you're like, you'll come along with me on this ride.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If I just like throw it out there, and which I'm guilty of. I mean, all teachers, you
Yeah.
have the X, Y, and Z you have to get through, right? And so you're like, got to do it. But if you take the time to sort of like try to establish that somewhat of a desire to learn about what I have to tell you, or at least like, this is why it would benefit you to know this. And so then you're like a little bit more like, I don't know, interested or eager. It won't completely fall on deaf ears. I mean, it's hard to sell grammar sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll bet.
Really, really hard. Hard to sell grammar. But other things aren't so difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
And it helps to try to take that time to like, convince kids to like want to learn this.
Yeah.
But also just advice too. Like there's kids if you want to give advice to about all kinds of different things, but if they haven't asked me, then
Oh yeah. Then there's no need of.
they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
You know? But if you build relationships with a student, then they may ask you and you get the opportunity to share some wisdom and experience. But yeah, like giving unasked for advice is basically like kind of worthless. It's not going to go anywhere. But yeah, and then also I think something else that maybe I've learned over all of these different teaching experiences is, I mean, not really like, I've learned this is about myself really, I think. And I think this is an important thing for people to like learn about themselves. But like because I've changed careers, every 4 or 5 years, like I've changed, something's changed about what I've been doing. I've moved on to somewhere else. And I just kind of realized that about myself, that like I can kind of get, not bored, but just like things get stale, and so like new challenges are exciting to me.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I've kind of discovered that about myself. So I think it's important to like learn that maybe you're not like, some people like probably like the sameness and like routine and they like to know what to expect. But I kind of like that things to change. And so when new projects or new things are presented to me, like this whole video board thing we were talking about.
Oh yeah.
Looking to get a video board at Crofton and like this whole new curriculum and this whole new aspect of journalism. Like that's so exciting to me. I just like look for those things. And so like that's an important lesson I think anybody could learn about themselves, like what kind of, and that's what I need to, that's how I grow, I guess, is looking for those new challenges too. And those are available to you wherever you're at if you seek them out.
Yeah. You just
know
have to
what I
look
mean?
for them. Here's my question. Here's the next question. Next question of the day. How much time do you spend outside of school on school stuff?
Well, right now, guys, I have a student teacher.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
not much, but okay, because she's doing all the heavy lifting, which is great for me. It's like, it's very different though. I'm getting a little bored, and so I'm like spending a lot of time on journalism. That's probably why like the list is, 15
yeah.
items long, and the to-do list is really thoroughly filled out because it's the
Yeah.
only class I'm teaching right now. But normally, I would say probably an hour or two a day outside of school, probably. But it's like time on the couch that I'm like grading,
Yeah.
or maybe designing something.
Yeah.
Or it's like not, it's not that stressful.
But still, the amount of time that our wonderful teachers here at Crofton put in.
Yeah, I don't know how
That's
you do
true.
it. I don't know how you do
That's
it.
true.
I don't think I could do it.
You don't think you could be a teacher?
No. I've said this once before, but I could not handle people like me.
Specifically?
Just like you?
No, if anybody
You're
in my
not even
class,
that bad, Quinn.
anybody in my class, if I was an adult, I would hate them.
Oh, you would? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they're annoying. Like right now, I'm like, yeah, but I assume when I'm a grown-up adult, I'm gonna be like, shut up. I feel like it would be very annoying.
It can get annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
This is true.
How do you
Yeah.
keep yourself from doing that? How do you keep yourself from just
From
standing
blowing
up and
up.
screaming at a
That's what I would do.
'Cause I would do
Well,
that.
actually, because there's definitely times you kind of have to use your teacher voice.
Yeah.
There's been times. I mean,
Rip out
not
the
so much.
ruler.
Yeah, not so much in like journalism, really.
Mm-hmm.
I never really felt like I need to yell at any like shut up type of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like get like really
Mhm.
angry. But humor actually, having honestly like.
That's the way to get through
Yeah,
it.
that's the way to get through it.
Yeah.
Is to have a sense of humor. I love to roast people in a gentle way. Gentle roasting shuts them right up.
Oh, that's such
Yeah,
a good.
that-
Yeah.
such a good way.
I
to
feel
do
like
it.
I
Just the
feel like I
light
can think
toasting,
of one or two times you've done that. I can't say what happened, but that like rings a bell.
Right?
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, just a little.
Just that's.
Put them in their place, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
But not so rudely that they can't laugh at it. Everybody laughs. It's funny.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
gotta be
yeah.
like a little absurd, but like
Yeah.
not too much.
Yeah. But there's some reality to it.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, I guess I should be quiet.
I should probably shut up now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that helps.
What did you go for? What did you go to
college.
college for?
So, this is kind of funny. So I went, well, not funny. Interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But I went to UNK in Kearney, and I went to be a speech pathologist. So my bachelor's degree is in communication disorders. And at that time, you had to do the whole pre-education sequence.
Okay.
So I was communication disorders, but I had done everything that teachers do in
Also
their
have to
pre.
do.
Mhm.
Okay.
I could have student taught and gotten a teaching certificate right then at the end of that 4 years. But I had like whatever happens before a midlife crisis, I had like in like the quarter life crisis.
Quarter life crisis. Yeah.
Oh.
And like was all of a sudden I did not want to be a speech pathologist anymore. I thought it would be the most boring, awful career.
Whoa.
Like a 180 flip.
Total. I was about to go enroll in beauty school.
Whoa.
Really?
That's
I
a switch.
Yes. And I actually was dating my husband at the time. We were dating then, and I told him that, and he was like, oh, you cannot. Your mother will kill you.
Shout out.
She will absolutely kill you.
So, the entire everything died.
Yeah, it all died.
It all died. So, today's episode of the Warrior Way podcast is brought to you by Mrs. Baker's Charger.
It came in clutch.
We figured out that we don't have to use batteries, and we can use her computer charger. So,
So we don't have to burn a hole in the school's pocket.
yep. So, thank you, Mrs. Baker. Shout outs.
Shout out to
Again,
the charger.
I know that we're interrupting your interview to shout out you again.
Yeah.
But Shout outs, Mrs. Baker,
Shout outs.
for providing us with this beautiful long charger.
It's
And
really long.
We really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. This episode is also sponsored by LT, the man, the myth, the legend. LT. Yeah, he lets us into this room. If we're ever stuck out in the hallway, we're like, LT, can you let us in? He's like, yeah, I got you.
Coming soon will be an episode.
Or maybe multiple. Who knows?
Or maybe multiple episodes of the LT podcast, because that man can talk for hours.
Yes.
And it's going to be amazing.
It will be amazing. Mark my words.
So that's a little precursor to what's to come.
What is to come.
So thank you so much for listening
Appreciate
to our
it.
podcast.
Shout out you. You know what? Shout out you.
Shout out our listeners.
Yeah.
So
you are able to make us what we are able to do.
Yep. So we're going to head right back into Miss Bake's interview. So, swooping sound effect. Welcome back from the death. It's time. What were you?
I think I was finishing up
your
quarter life crisis.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I basically, long story short, I did not, because speech pathologists have to go to grad school for 2 years after their bachelor's. I didn't want to do that. Wanted to go to beauty school, but I was afraid of my mom. And so I had to find something else to do. So I went to Lincoln and got my early childhood special ed master's degree.
Wow.
So that's why my first teaching job was early childhood special ed. So I got a master's degree in education with, early childhood special ed as my endorsement.
Oh.
And then went and worked with the babies and the families, which was great.
So that's also, with that degree came just like teaching in general?
Yes. I student taught and did all that so I could get my teaching certificate.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now you're here.
And here I am.
Now you're here at the greatest school in the world.
Yes.
Yep.
Wow.
It's so wonderful.
I actually wrote down a question.
Okay,
so,
cool.
What's one piece of advice that you give to every other teacher that's watching this?
Or listening to it?
Listening to
Yeah,
this.
Jack, come
Every
on.
teacher across the globe that listens to our podcast.
Oh, gosh, that's a great question because there's a crisis in the education profession right now.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Teachers are leaving left and right.
Mm-hmm.
They are leaving. I would say it would be to advocate for yourselves. And because a big part of why teachers leave is because they feel overworked, underappreciated, underpaid, whatever. I'm sure some of them do advocate for themselves and maybe things still don't work out. But I think that's really important not to just stand by and complain and feel defeated and frustrated, but to try to advocate for yourself, push for changes in your job, in your pay, in your roles and responsibilities to make your position more appealing or desirable to you. I feel like teachers have power that they don't exercise.
That was so motivating.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was great. Quinnlan, do you want to be a teacher now?
Advocate for yourself.
I will say, if I were to be a teacher, it would be because of that talk.
Oh, cool.
But I'm still not going to be a teacher.
Oh, okay.
It was a wonderful, amazing talk. But
But
the scale was already tipped too far.
I understand.
Oh.
I understand. Well, you could still change your mind. You're a young person.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe if I were to teach, this is going to be
This is repetitive.
repetitive. Yeah. But
You can come back and listen to this, though, someday.
yeah.
If you were to teach.
If I were to teach, I would teach kindergarten through 3rd grade.
Yes, Quinn.
Because
Little
I
baby
feel like
children.
they aren't as annoying as back talking.
I would agree.
They're more just
Thrown up
rambunctious.
Yes.
Rambunctious.
And, they, that young age, too, I enjoyed preschool and this age group a lot. All they want to do is make you happy.
Oh.
See, that sounds
all
awesome.
They want.
Oh,
They
that's so
just
sweet.
want to please you. And they want to play and have fun, but ultimately they want your approval. They want to make you happy. And
That sounds awesome.
it is really, it is so great. And male teachers are needed so badly in elementary schools.
Who knows? Maybe I'll be a teacher.
Do it. Anywho, final
Oh,
question.
that'd be fun.
Yes.
Who's your favorite student?
Well, If you think it's you.
If it's not me, I'm going to be so mad.
If it's not me, I'm deleting the podcast.
Oh my gosh. It's an impossible question I cannot answer.
I don't think it's impossible. I think
Do
it's
you know
impossible.
I got it. You know
Uh-oh.
who my favorite student is?
I have it in my mind.
Better not say Grant.
It's me.
I thought you were going to say your child.
I am my favorite student.
I thought you were going to say your child.
No, it's me. As I'm a lifelong learner.
There you go.
You guys teach me stuff every day. You taught me
to
how
podcast.
this thing works here, this doohickey, whatever.
The
You taught
doohickey.
us that we can use your computer charger.
Yeah.
Yes, we realized that together.
Wow.
See? Look at us teaching
Forever
each
learning.
other. Forever learning.
It's a
Aw.
forever cycle.
That's so sweet.
Yes.
I'm still mad I'm not the favorite student. More episodes of the podcast to come as the days go by.
Now,
We
is this
will-
your wrap up? Is
we
this
will-
the conclusion?
yes,
Yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
yeah. Pay
Nice.
attention.
we
Pay
will,
attention.
We will learn so much more in our lives.
We sure will.
Make this a grandiose ending and just end it with a rim shot.
A drum rim shot.
Yeah, drum rim shot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I'm not a drummer.
You're a baller.
Yeah, I'm a baller. I'm a baller. That's what I am.
Well, thank you for your listening. Mrs. Baker, is there any social media that you would like people to find?
Warrior Journalism on TikTok.
At Warrior Journalism on TikTok. Look us
Crofton
up.
Journalism on Insta.
Facebook, Twitter.
Facebook.
We should have a Snapchat.
No, never.
Oh, God, no.
No.
I don't know how to use a Snapper chat.
Something on Facebook. We're something on
Snapper
Facebook.
I do believe we just post to the Crofton School Facebook.
At Crofton
account.
Schools on Facebook. At Crofton Warriors on Twitter.
Yes.
Look us up. You'll find us somewhere. Go to our school's website.
Yep.
Do whatever.
Yep.
Call us up. Get you on the podcast.
How crazy would that be? Imagine we're big enough one day.
We're not going to be, but...
We're not with that. What's it called?
Attitude. Yeah.
There you go.
You have to have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for listening.
We'll be
Yeah.
back
We
yet
will
again.
be.
That's the rim shot.